today. This came in last night as far as COVID-19 cases here in Logan County. We've got 175 confirmed cases. 82 have recovered, and there's been 6 deaths recorded here in Logan County. And that's leaving 85 active cases in the county. So we definitely need to remember those people. We need to remember what we're doing today, and continue to ask people, to show compassion for their friends and neighbors. And with that being said, Jason, I want to call on you to do the prayer this morning.
Let's pray. Dear God, thank you for this day that you've given us, and thank you for all your many blessings. And just thank you for allowing us all to meet here together and keeping us healthy. And we just pray for all the hurting in our community. And we pray that you give us the wisdom to conduct the county's business in the way that you would see fit. And just lead, guide, and direct us through the rest of this day. Watch over each and every one of us as we leave this place. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, let's call the meeting together with the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started today, we need to amend the agenda after department head's report to acknowledge receipt for the waste tire grant for 2019 and receipt of the waste tire grant and settlement for 2019 and 2020 fiscal year.
Second.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Now, is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport. Davenport.
I was checking the YouTube feed, sorry. Yes.
Crosley.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, we'll start out this morning with approval of the regular meeting minutes, May 26.
I'll make a motion to approve the May 26th meeting minutes as presented.
Second. Okay, got a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Not hearing any, let's have roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Crosley.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, then we got our special call meeting for June the 2nd, 2020. I got those minutes we need to approve also.
Make a motion that we approve the June the 2nd minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second. Now, is there any questions? If not, let's have roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Crosley.
Yes.
Wright.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business is to approve the bill list. We don't have a supplemental today.
I'll make a motion to approve the bill list.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and second to present to approve the bill list as presented. Any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Crosley. Wright.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden.
Yes.
Yes.
Chick.
Okay, road work request, Tyler.
District 1, continue maintenance. Appreciate everything, Paul.
District 2, everything's good. Feel like we look at the water problem on Brown Road on the campground road.
District 3, continue maintenance. Appreciate all the work. You know, we feel like you say continue maintenance all the time, but it's the work y'all do during the week that makes it so much easier. Thanks a lot.
District 4, out on North Logan School Road where Troy Watkins Road tees into North Logan. I've had a couple of people ask if we can put a stop sign up there. It's kind of like a free for all. But other than that, continue maintenance, mowing's good, everything's going good.
District 5, same thing. Everything's good, fast.
District 6, continue maintenance, thanks for everything, and this time, Judge, I'd also like to request that we have Paul evaluate the next court meeting, have a request to have the Charlie Mack Road extended from where it currently stops now, which is where the pavement stops, and just keep on going until we get to C and J Morse, the business. I don't know exactly how far that is, but I've asked Paul to go and look at that and see if there's anything that the landowners would need to do. They're more than willing to do that. I talked to both landowners and they're willing to deed the property over to the county. So they've been through this process before. Y'all know we get the Charlie Mack Road extended once and forward. So we just want to take that all the way to C and J Morse. County Road in all the way to C and J Morse. Mr. Jefferson said if we needed property for him to make a turnaround or anything, he was more than willing to deed that property over as well.
Okay, y'all heard the roadwork request, and is there any questions? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
We haven't had anybody make a
Oh,
motion.
let's make a motion on the roadwork request.
So
Okay, who moved and you seconded?
he moved and I'll second.
Sounds good.
Thomas moved and I'll second.
Okay, now we got a motion and a second. Is there any questions? If not hearing any, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crosley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, elected officials. Mary? Okay, Mary don't have anything, Phil?
Morning, Court. Morning. I'm pleased to announce we don't have any signs and symptoms of COVID-19 in our jail this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, the total population at the jail is 117, with 41 county inmates, 76 state. I'll take any questions, any comments. Very manageable right now. We'd like for it to stay that way, but I don't foresee it doing it. Things open back up.
At least nobody's sleeping on the floor now.
That's exactly right.
Actually, they don't sleep on the floor, they sleep on a boat mat.
Yeah, we have portable bunks and mats for them to sleep on. They don't sleep on the bare concrete floor. Make that clear. Okay. I think most of you all got a email on Keiko describing on the denial of missions. I'm going to pass this around. Did it come from you, Phil? Or Plum County Jailer or Phil?
Came from me.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I got one.
I'm missing it now.
Want to adopt TEDCO's policy into our existing policy. Why don't you all take a look at that?
At 2 o'clock in the morning, who's the person that completes the medical exam?
It would be the staff, jail staff.
Who's that?
Mm-hmm.
Will do that qualification?
They have been trained as such by the medical. And then, of course, they can call medical.
They get a
We got medical on the call.
They get certification and training on that?
I'm sorry?
Do they have certification and training on that?
They have hours of training. And like I say, there's medical on call.
Would that person be called in if necessary?
Yes.
I don't think they're here. Well, I take it when we go.
That's better.
Is that the person that makes the final call of whether that one comes in or not?
Yes.
Okay, any more discussion? What this is, there are insurance carriers. And this is how they train people at insurance meetings. And this is just recommendation sent down for jail operations from our insurance carriers, what this is.
That's exactly right.
And so, Phil, just clarify, I mean, I think common sense would overrule, but I just want to make sure, like, you know, number one, under procedure, number 2A, slurred speech or unable to speak. I mean, what do you do if somebody comes in drunk? I mean, obviously, there's going to be slurred speech. Are they going to be denied coming in if they're intoxicated, but they're like, go to number 5 on the second page, but the blood alcohol level is below 0.28.
Right.
I mean, you're going to admit it.
If it's below 2.8, and if it's below 2.8, we will consider admitting them, but if they got slurred speech, can't stand up, then we're going to deny them.
What's the police officer do with that?
By statute, they're required to take them to the hospital.
I'm lost again. Are you saying if they should drunk almost, they can't stand up, they gotta go to the hospital?
Right. We're not an emergency room, we're not a hospital.
Do what? I mean, will the hospital people, but just check?
There's several things they can do. I mean, I don't know what their protocol would be. They can observe them for a little while. If the blood alcohol goes up, then of course they're going to keep them. If it goes down below 2.8, we may take them back. But we don't want them coming in our jail drunk and dying.
Is the hospital aware of your policy?
I can't hardly hear you.
Is the hospital aware of your policy?
They are. I sent it to them yesterday.
Are they accepting it?
It's not them to accept. It's a jail policy.
Okay, another question. I understand if they're sick, if they're really sick, I understand that. I mean, they need to be to hospital people. But if they's a drunk, they can't hardly stand up and they throwing a fit. Who at the hospital's going? If the sheriff goes down there with them?
Right? They may start an IV, they may do multiple things to assure that they are clear to lodge, to clear them to lodge. We don't want them coming in our jail dying, okay?
Well, I understand.
This is a K-code recommendation.
Yeah, I
And they've
understand.
got lawyers and people that have studied this quite some time. So I would say it would be a smart move to follow their guidelines.
Are we adding this in a response to an issue that you're having, or is it something they just randomly sent us to, that we needed to add?
This is something K-code has had in place for quite some time. We just want to implement it into our policy, the existing policy we already have.
What about this body scams down here? Scanner.
That's if, I guess it finds
Body
evidence.
scanner.
What's that?
Body scanner down number 4.
What about it?
Well, the staff has to follow body scan procedures and policy and procedures.
Well, if they got a tattoo device up their rectum, we would think we need to have it removed. So that's
You
what
want to
that,
actually, okay.
or a bag of dope, whatever it may be, we're not allowed to remove it. We have to take
That's good.
So we have to take responsibility.
Everybody that comes in has to buy body scan, right?
Yes.
Everybody.
Then if a deputy, police, or whoever brings someone in that you not think is drunk, that you think's too sick, if you all think they're too sick to go into jail, can you then ask the deputy to take them to the hospital?
Yes.
And if the hospital checks them out, says they're okay, then you will take them if you bring them back, right?
If they're able to stand up and walk and don't show any chest pains and any of this stuff that we just mentioned here, that's why we have this, so we have something to go by.
It just seems like this gets brought up a lot. I don't guess I have a problem with you making your policy to what it needs to fit the jail, but it'd be good to know before, because it needs court approval to add to the policy. Be good to know that, that you're working with, and I'm sure you are, working with Steve and working with the chief of Russellville. Do they know what this policy, that y'all are met about it, and they know what this policy is, and everybody's kind of, yeah, that's right, that's cool, so everybody's in agreement that this policy is doable for all parties.
Again, this is jail policy, okay? This is what the jail requires. This is backed up by statute, KRSs and KARs.
Let me ask you this, what if they bring them in, you think they're too sick, and they need to go to the hospital? What happens if the police, or the deputy, or the sheriff, whoever, don't particularly want to take them? It's their responsibility. You don't have
Per
to.
statute, it is their responsibility.
If I get arrested, I'd fail about a fourth of these here. I mean, I'm serious. And it won't be because they're illegal.
This is not just me. This is recommendations from KO, our insurance carrier. And this is not something we're doing here just at our jail. Most all jails, county jails, they can follow these guidelines.
Well, the intent is to keep someone safe
Right.
That's right.
including your jail staff, not more than mentioned the person who's been detained. And a jail is not equipped to medically handle issues that are addressed right here. They should be going to seek medical help, not to be thrown into lockdown, and not being observed by properly medically trained staff. So
Right.
I would be in agreement with it. Again, I think there is some common sense that should apply, you know, I mean, I would assume with the record of what most people are in jail for is drug and alcohol related, or a combination of both. I mean, somebody might have a little bit of slurred speech and a little bit too much to drink, a little 0.8, and, you know, he's fine, he just needs to sober up, or she's fine, he just needs to sober up. I hate for us to not detain somebody, just because they get a little bit of slurred speech, but everybody else seems to be fine. So, some common sense would override, y'all would detain that person
Right.
and go on.
The thing about just the alcohol, the 2.28, I think they have drugs involved with that as well. And that's where maybe the slurred speech may come into play. So it's not just alcohol, it could be a combination of alcohol, methamphetamine, it could be some kind of tranquilizer. It could be a various, different things, a combination of several things.
How much different is this policy and procedure to what you have in place now?
The slurred speech was always there. Unable to walk without assistance, suspected drug overdose, omission of ingesting a large amount of drugs, scanner revealed contraband inside the body cavity, and we had some more, but after that, these are KCO recommendations. They are an insurance carrier, and they have studied this a lot longer than any of us.
When we carry them to the emergency room, who pays then? Like if the officer has to pay? I mean, I know this is out of the jail, but does the county responsible for that bill then?
In some cases. Now, we don't have 24 medical coverage at the jail. We have 12 hours. So, I mean, we're not set up to handle these situations.
Outside of the 12 hours that you
We're not
have in there.
Even in the 12 hours, we're not set up to handle these situations. They're basically checking their blood pressure, following doctor's orders, that type of stuff. We're not set up to handle these things that's laid out in this policy. I mean, unless you want to set up a doctor in the emergency room there at the jail.
I don't have a problem with amending the policy. Like I said, as long as, and I'm sure you are, working with the other agencies that bring people to jail, that they know the policy and you could avoid a lot of time that you're taking between if everybody understands the policy in place and you don't have, the arresting agencies know what the policy is, and I mean, I don't know. It seems like, well, I guess when they come to jail, y'all are taking partial custody of them by examining them, and then if your examination is failed examination, then you hand them back over to the sheriff's office. But like I say, I don't have a problem with the amendment of the policy as long as all agencies are aware of all of the policies you have in place.
Just so you know, I sent it out to all the chiefs, all the mayors, everybody that I know has a copy of it now.
Could we table this one to the next court meeting? Will that be a problem?
Well, we have a lot of cases coming in between now and next court meeting, but
That's just my, I just ask a question. They might not want to go along with it.
Can you send us the current policies and procedures so we can, between now and then, we can go over it?
Bill, are you still having a considerable turnover in personnel?
Not really.
Okay. When you have a new employee to come in, how long is it before they get trained for this?
We have employee meetings at least maybe once a month, if not twice a month, and we go over training. Then
The training's done here?
we got a certified trainer.
How long do you believe it
You say the training is done here at the jail?
Yes.
Well, I didn't get this one here on my email. I dug both in, so I'm going to make a motion, we table it to the next court meeting, but if anybody wants to, they can second it.
I'll
Both.
second that, Barry.
Okay, we've had a motion to table it to the next court meeting, and we had a second.
You get a second?
Can you give us that?
You get a second?
Jason.
Well, I'm going to continue to operate with current policies. Now, it doesn't even make any sense to me why you don't follow the guidelines set forth by our insurance carrier. That makes no sense to me at all.
I'd just like to see both of them. I'd just like to go over both of them.
Okay?
Okay, any more discussion?
I don't have a problem doing it today, but I'll respect Barry if he wants some time, more time in it, or whoever else, or Jason, whoever needs more time. I respect them. If they will need more time.
Is he the only one
I can wait till
getting
next.
email?
I can wait till next meeting.
I mean, I can't find the email here, so.
Have you got your policy with you?
Yeah.
I want a copy of it.
I'll send you a copy.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, is there any more comments on the motion? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
No.
Chick.
I'm gonna vote no, too. Okay, let's, Scotty?
Bill, this other one, this model policies and procedures was sent yesterday, but is it the same as I got here?
Exactly the same.
It just don't,
You don't vote on it now, so don't even matter.
okay, thank you, sir.
Good morning, Philip.
Morning.
I voted no because it just, it doesn't matter, but I voted no because it just seems, it's what our insurance company's recommendations are, and it's a KRA statute, I think we ought to follow just for the
Okay.
well-being and staff
Yeah, I don't have,
and the entertainment, but anyhow, they're going to do the right thing, I'm confident that they're going to do the right thing for the health of whoever it be entertained, and they'll work it out.
I don't have a problem with this policy and doing the updates the jailer wants to do. But I do respect Barry and, my fellow magistrate. If he wants some more time to evaluate, I don't have a problem with that, so.
We'll be fine.
We'll be good. We'll be good.
Professional staff, they're going to do the right thing,
That's right.
keep people safe, that's all that matters.
Okay, Scotty.
All right. First thing I've got for is the May fee report, please, Ms. Hall.
Move to approve the fee reports, May 21.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion second on clerk's fee report. Is there any question? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes.
I'd like to report to the court that we're in the election process now. Since last court meeting, everything is rolling good. We've probably had around 2,500 requests from the absentee portal. We're processing those daily and getting those out, staying caught up on that. We're checking them back. We're starting to check them back in. Should be starting to count next week with the counting committee. I've got my in-person absentee open over here across the street also. This week I'm doing it for handicap accessible needs by appointment. My goal is to start next week for the last week. Anybody that may need some extra time or just they don't want to get in crowds, whatever, but they want to vote in person, we're going to try our best to honor that. I'm kind of learning as I go. This is all new to us, so I talked to the judge this morning. I would like to ask the court, just as a backup plan, if I start getting more people in next week, I may need a couple of people to help me out for that last week. I would get a Democrat and a Republican poll worker to have parity in the process, to just man that poll over there at the front of the door while the other staff is working in the back. So I would request just that as a backup. I would request 2 people, and I would just pay them $12 an hour as needed. I'm not saying I'm going to hire them, but while I'm in court, I'd just like to get that authorization if I need to go to that plan.
You need a motion, I'll make a motion.
Okay, the motion
Need to read. Yeah.
need to be stated somehow.
Yeah, that's what I was, how do you,
I just asked that the clerk could have the authorization to hire 2 poll workers, 1 of each party, at $12 an hour as needed for the last week of the leading up to the election.
Well, that's my motion again.
I'll second it.
Okay, got a motion second. Is there a question by anybody? Okay, and this will come out of election line item.
You should have a little cushion room on that. You don't have to have as many workers, so.
Okay, no other questions, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
Also talked to the judge this morning, so this is kind of another interesting thing, is we budget 2 elections, each budget usually. We're kind of in a situation to where in the 1920 budget, this election's falling on June 23rd. It's going to kind of push us to get it into this cycle. And I was just talking to him about, if I get, I'm going to have 20 poll workers working on election day. If I get the information to his staff the day of, afternoon, or the first thing that morning the next day, that would give them 5 days that we could still pull out of this year's budget to pay those poll workers, and they wouldn't have, and because if we go over, we're going to have to, we only budget for the 3rd year, we always just budget 1 election, so we're going to have to budget more money. It's going to be a lot more work for the court and the girls and staff. So I'm just throwing that out there to the court. If y'all could just authorize that we could work that out to pay the poll workers before the end of June, because our next meeting will be the 22nd, but I probably won't be here because I'll be knee-deep in getting things ready to go. So just thought I'd bring that up this morning for some discussion, please.
Okay. All right, you need that in a motion where you'll be able to pay the poll workers by the end of June?
Yes.
Okay.
That way we can pull it out of this year's budget that we've already
Yeah,
budgeted for.
we budget for.
No, I don't know exactly how that'll affect the new budget process. Amanda, you got any answers to that?
We just, when you do the motion, just make sure that you include any necessary cash transfers or budget transfers. I feel like we're gonna be paying out a lot less than what we would typically pay on an election, so I don't really foresee that being an issue as far as cash and budget transfers, but just in case. And we can probably, kind of guess pretty closely of how much this is gonna cost, and we can figure that into our bill totals for carryover. So it shouldn't be that much of an issue.
And I'll work with you, and get you all the information prior to that date.
Okay.
One of the big things in this, if we don't do it that way, we're gonna be 2 weeks or longer getting them a check for the poll workers.
Yeah.
I know it might not give us an accurate carryover because we don't know what it's gonna cost yet at this time. But it would be something we'd have to work with if we done it this way. I do agree that the poll workers need to be paid as soon as we can pay them.
Agree.
And
And normally, we don't have this issue.
Right.
Normally, we have.
Yeah.
It's in May,
time,
so.
In May, that June's a little
Yeah.
different type.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put that in form of motion that we'll be able to pay the poll workers what they're due to be paid by the end of June, and that we can make the cash transfers as needed. Is that good enough?
I second.
I don't think we'll need any cash transfers. It's just,
Okay, Amanda just said she'd like to put it in there.
okay,
Just in case.
and that'd be fine.
Okay.
But
All right.
who
Yeah.
seconded that?
Mr.
Robert? Okay, got a motion and a second to allow this, us to be able to write checks to the poll workers, and approval to write the checks
Yes.
after the election and this year's budget. Is there any questions? Okay, not hearing any, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
I just want to thank the court for all your help.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
I'd like to say, Scott, if we go on, I know you like the rest of y'all have a lot of extra work to do, but I think you're doing a good job.
Thank you, Mr. Collins. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Okay,
Scott.
Steve?
I just didn't get the fee report acknowledged for May.
Motion to approve the sheriff's office May fee report.
Second.
Okay, we need to get them microphones just a little bit closer. I just barely heard either one of you. And Tyler made the motion, and Jack Crowley seconded the motion to approve the sheriff's May fee report. Is there any discussion? If not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, Ginger, you got anything today? Department heads?
I just want to kind of give y'all an update on the CAD system. We have been delayed a little bit with everything going on because they can't come here and we can't go there. So we are working on some remote training and we're still looking at,
Pull that mic down.
good gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I told him it was a 7-foot person
I
going up.
thought I was tall, but did y'all hear anything I said?
Yeah, I hear everything.
Okay. I usually talk pretty loud. But we're still looking for the middle of August, getting everything installed. They can't travel right now, so it makes it hard for them to install, and we can't travel there to train.
The installation was delayed anyway, right?
Yeah, it was delayed anyway.
So now they got a good excuse.
Now they got a.
Okay.
That's what they're telling me.
Okay.
So, but I have been in touch with them off and on, for the last, I talk to them about every week trying to get things settled. And
Yeah.
we've just been extremely busy down there, but other than that, we're all healthy. We haven't had anybody in our department get it yet, which is a good thing, because in our department, if one gets it, it's gonna probably knock us all out. So, that's all I got. It's good to see all y'all. I haven't seen
Yeah.
y'all in a long time.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. Paul, you got anything? Okay, going to solid waste. You should have a recycled material report. talking about bales of recycling. And then you should have road litter pickup, which there's several notes over at the side. 2 chairs were picked up, a large metal container, styrofoam large plastic container, large wood pieces, construction debris, large scrap metal, car bumper, 2 mattresses, a box spring, a love seat, a couch love seat, and aquarium. Was all picked up a little bit different than a normal garbage pickup. And y'all have got that report in front of you. The next item of business is what we added to the agenda. To acknowledge receipt of a report from Solid Waste Tire Grant. Every year we get $4,000. This year we spent $4,002.15 with a total number of tires of 1,990 tires that we sent to recycle. We need to acknowledge receipt of that and allow me to sign it. It's a closeout of the 2019-2020 grant.
Well, I'll put,
Acknowledge the receipt of waste tire grant. Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley.
Yes.
Wright,
yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, treasurer's report.
Good morning.
Morning.
In your folder, you should have a copy of the financial statement ending May 31st, 2020. The balance in the general fund was $1,144,155.59. Road fund, $586,220.88. Jail fund, $190,078.06. LGEA, $116,892.95. Solid waste, $626,553.51. Occupational tax, $5,613,686.94. Life skills, $153,345.30. 911, $118,403.39. Special reserve, $4,172,259.74. For a total of all funds, $12,721,596.36.
Move to acknowledge treasurer's report.
Second?
Okay, got a motion to approve the financial statement. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
You also have in your folders the list of budget transfers that we need to have approved.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion second on the budget transfers. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
I do have one cash transfer today. This transfer is because we're making a payment out of LGEA for the economic development payment for the last quarter in this fiscal year, as well as an $8,000 payment for the Lewisburg Parks. So the cash transfer today will be $45,000 from the Occupational Net Profits Tax Fund to the LGEA fund.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay, motion by Tyler, second by Jack, to approve this cash transfer. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
One other thing, Logan will probably go over it in just a little while as well. But we have a copy of the administrative code in your court folders. The month of June is the month that the fiscal court is allowed to make any changes to this that they would like. The judge can make changes to it anytime during the year, so if you all chose to do that later on, you could. The front of that packet is the original administrative code, and then the back of it is the changes that were made in 2019. So what you're reading in the front may have been changed some in the back. And I thank you all for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, judges' announcements, and I think she explained one pretty well. The Kentucky Judges Association and the Kentucky Magistrate Association Joint Conference has been rescheduled for September the 29th through October the 1st. These conferences are going to start running together if they're able to have them at that time, because the CAECO conference is sometime during that time period. And also there's just one set up for judges only in that time period. Hopefully things will be better by then and they'll be able to have them. As Amanda touched on this, a copy of the Logan County Administrative Code is in your packet for review. And if there's anything that needs to be changed or you feel like needs to be changed, we'll take this up at the June 22nd fiscal court meeting. Enclosed also, there's are changes to county officials training program that I think they're going to allow some of it to be web-based, but it's got to be set up where they can see that you're in attendance the whole time of one of the trainings. So you're just not going to be able to sign up for it, get on your computer, because if they can't see you, they're not going to give you credit for the training.
On which the CAECO training?
That's a CAECO,
The one-day training?
one-day things.
Yeah.
So they'll be looking for you on your computer.
Now, when is it?
Do what?
When is it?
They hadn't set up that.
They hadn't sent it out yet, they just approved it. You know what I'm talking about for web training?
Right.
But, like I told a few minutes ago, they gotta be able to see you on your computer. If they can't see you, you're not gonna get credit for the training.
Robert Earl, just video yourself for about 3-4 hours, and then loop it and put it on your TV screen, and you put your camera in front of it.
I don't slip out anyway. I'm gonna stay in front of the door.
Okay, one other announcement while we're talking about it. REB Architects
Online.
sent out their proposal for the location and the style of building out there at Animal Shelter, and they want any kind of comment that on this that we can give them. So y'all look at that, and if there's any comments, we need to get back with them.
What is it on? What is that about? I didn't see that.
Oh, Judge handed
It's
it
laying
out.
right there in front of you. What's that?
Oh, you handed that out to the
like
RB.
Oh, okay. This is looking at the.
I don't know what I done with mine, but I looked at it.
Another thing, Tyler, was that piece of paper I gave you. You know, we're still down in jail having problems with telephone and the cameras, you know, so.
Yeah, I talked to the guy at Cornerstone yesterday afternoon. He's supposed to be sending Phil and I a detailed, step-by-step, what all he's done. He told me that, there's still some issue with the remote viewing of one or two of the servers, the remote viewing part, and that AAA is supposed to be checking that out to give them more information. And then the way he talked, he's not done with the job, and I don't suspect he should be yet, because they're still working out the problems, is what he told me.
I'll just say that all that they've done has not helped. We got one phone that's down, can't
Yeah.
service.
But your phone service,
Same problem.
but your phone stuff is better, because you were dropping calls. You got one phone, he told you got one phone that's having a problem yesterday. You got a call yesterday. You got one phone that's having a power problem, and
That
then,
doesn't make sense. that don't even make sense why you got 15 other phones working and this one doesn't work.
So you got a problem with one phone, but you were having problems across the board with dropped calls. You said you'd be on the phone 10 minutes and the phone would drop out. That's gotten better, right?
I don't know if anything's any better.
Okay. That's not what he told me, but I mean,
Who told you that?
Dusty.
Now, there again, he's the problem. It's not any better than it was before. All the money that's supposed to be spent on it, things are not being done any better. So I just want to make that comment, that he's not doing it like he's
Okay,
supposed to.
you came
I
to
even
court.
had him write
Yeah.
on the bill.
Yeah. You came to court and said, we're having problems. And
Yeah.
one of the problems was you had a lot of finger pointing. So one of the suggestions that Green, the phone company said is that needs to be segregate the networks. That was what they were going to do. That's what Cornerstone did. You said you was having problems. You would like to get it out of the phone people's hands and us taking over the management, which is what we did. And he's still working on it. What he told me, he's not done. He's waiting on AAA on the camera stuff.
AAA left yesterday and said it was an issue with Cornerstone.
And we need to
It's
get,
just the same thing.
Yeah.
One blames the other one, just like
Yeah.
always.
yeah.
Just know that.
Okay, I'm not seeing any citizens here today. Everybody look like they're here for business, so we'll skip the citizen participation. And it being a closed meeting, the only way we could do it would be over the audio anyhow. We'll move on then to new business. And it's open, first item of business is open to bid for life support ambulance service for fiscal year 2020 and 2021. And it looked like we've received one bid.
Wonder who that'd be? John brought the big guns out today.
So if any one of y'all want to come forward?
What'd I say? You brought the big gun. Good morning.
First, I'd like to apologize for the late bid this year. Had a conversation with the judge earlier this year. I guess it was about mid-March, and I said, Judge, I'm just worried that we're not going to be in a position to bid this service quite as early as we normally do. And you guys usually are at the forefront of doing bids of all the counties that we operate. You guys do it first, which is always better. This has been a weird year. I don't think I'm telling anybody things that you don't know. And we just felt like a need to wait a while to see what the financial impact was going to be from COVID before we placed a bid. So I think the judge got with us 2 or 3 weeks ago and said, we're going to advertise this. Are you ready to bid? I said, we'll make sure we're ready to bid. But the good news is, from a COVID standpoint, the bid does not reflect any increase in the bid that's related to COVID. We feel like that we've gotten enough assistance from the CARES Act that we covered some pretty significant losses, but they've been covered through the various different processes and the different pots of money that we were able to get a hold of. However, there was a couple of issues that pre-COVID that was going to come up on this year's bid, and I want to explain them both to you. One was a market raise that we had to do back in January. Over the last 3 or 4 years, the county services in our area had went through some pretty significant shortages of staffing. As a result, they implemented some raises, pretty strong raises, in order to get their staff back up to place. We didn't experience that with ComCare. However, the end result was, when this was all over, is that all these other counties' rates had went up and we were quite a bit behind everybody else. So we had to do a pretty significant market raise with our employees. Effective, we did it in January, and that did increase our operating costs by about $60,000. On our bid, we reflected we're gonna eat half that, but we're gonna have some additional money on our subsidy to help offset that. The other issue, and that will be obviously ongoing, as far as these are permanent raises. The second issue is our heart monitors. The heart monitor is something that it's on the capital equipment list. That's one of the pieces of equipment that's provided by the court. The ambulance, the heart monitor, the stretcher, and the mobile radio. The heart monitors that we had had been getting pretty old. They were the monitors that were turned over to ComCare in 2009. Actually, we can't even get parts now to get them repaired. The company's not supporting it. So we purchased 3 monitors back in March for the service. What I would like to suggest to the court, we've got a couple of options. One would be that you guys basically lease an option for you all to lease those monitors and with the option to own, with no pass-through money to us at all. It would be strictly what we paid for them, divided by 36, and over the next 3 years, we would just lease them. As you all lease them at the end of every year, you all would own one of them. That would be one option. Second option, one of the reasons we had to purchase these monitors is because of the increase in transport volumes, moving some of these critically sick patients to bigger hospitals. So I'm not sure that maybe this would be considered a COVID-related expense, and you all could look at utilizing that option to pay for these now, at least one of them, if not all 3 of them, as opposed to stretching it out over 3 years. Other than that, there's nothing in here for COVID-related expenses because I'm really not sure what the future holds, to be honest with you. Our run volume is down significantly. It started down in March. It really bottomed out in April. It continues to stay down as of the end of May, while our costs are pretty much constant. Otherwise, our cost of readiness is what the American Ambulance Association calls it when they're talking to the federal government about this problem. The cost of being ready hadn't changed while our reimbursement for runs made has went down significantly. I don't know what the future holds on that. As a result, I have asked that we put a clause in the contract that says when we're operating under a national, state, or locally declared disaster, that we realize that's operating outside of our contract, and we'll just have to try to work together to rectify those costs. If we're under a state of emergency, there's usually processes, whether it's a request for public assistance through emergency management, or it seems like there's been several different funding streams that's come about as a result of COVID that's not accessible by ComCare, but would be accessible through the court. So I think what we would want to look at doing is retrospectively, we look at this as this thing starts winding down. What are other ways that we can get funding to help with that for those losses? It's funny, this is the 12th time we bid this service. The first time we bid the service, the day I was down here, was the day that the ice storm hit. Now, we didn't start operating for about 90 days, but I left here and I went back and we dealt with the ice storm for roughly about 30 days, and that event was over. We really haven't had a big event that we've had to deal with since then. Not one that I would say truly financially impacts how we operate and provide care. So it's been once in 12 years, but this one's been pretty significant for us. Our guys have been on the front lines. I think other than the hospital, I would argue that EMS is probably the next most exposed folks when it comes to working the front lines of this pandemic. We've done real well. We've had a couple of people off on quarantine, but nobody that's gotten sick. But we've worked real hard to provide personal protective equipment and the processes necessary to stay real safe. We gave a hazard pay during this event to our employees, and we've done that for a period of about 8 weeks, that they got an additional amount of pay for the folks, only for those folks that were out in the field providing care to patients. We've tried to show them that we appreciate what they've done, and as they've worked hard to try to keep everybody safe. It's been an unusual event. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions about this year's bid.
Okay, I guess we need to read the amount of the bid. The bid, what I'm seeing is $190,700. You're requesting 12 equal payments of $17,217.66 being paid at the beginning of each month. The monthly amount includes the monitor lease payment of $1,326.
So, right, so if those monitors, if you elected to try to get those paid for with FEMA funds, then you could deduct that amount from that monthly payment. That
Okay.
wouldn't have, that would only have to be there if you
Joe, we
decided to
might
go that
need
route.
your advice on this. Okay, the question is, they purchased 3 heart monitors because of the lack of being able to get parts for the ones we had. I guess at $15,915 each, right?
Correct.
Okay. He's offering, now this was the ambulance service.
Yeah.
Okay, he's offering the lease payments of $13.26 a month in his bid. And at the end of 36 months, there'll be, the heart monitors that belong to Logan County. In a normal situation, 3 of these would put it way over the bid limit. I didn't know how that could be worked out.
We could do them one a year. I would think at the end of each year, you would own one, and then we would lease another one for a year, and then you would own it. At the end of 3 years, you'd own all 3 of them.
My thought would be that it is the yearly amount of money you're spending on it, so.
I can't hear
He's
you.
comfortable doing it that way. It's the amount of money you spend in a calendar year on that issue, so if you're not spending more than that in a year, and what he's proposing would seem to fit that one a year, so. I'm okay with it if you want.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying that the issue would be how much money you spend in 1 year on it. And if he's talking about doing it 1 per year, that would be under our threshold for needing to.
That would be under our threshold, but normally, we have to get 2 quotes, and that's the reason I'm asking you.
Well, we're not actually buying it outright. I mean, I'm looking at it as some lease property, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's up to you if you want to have them go get quotes. It's also somewhat of a specialized service they're providing, since we're talking about medical issues. So.
Can we get, does it affect if we lease it versus purchase it and get reimbursed through the CARES Act, through the money that's coming through the state?
I'm not sure about whether that would trigger the CARES money or not. Do you have?
I think it would, and I think the answer to your question is yes. I believe we could possibly utilize CARES money for all 3, at least one of them.
So here's the thing for me, this is just math for me. It's cheaper for me to lease it because 1326 times 36 is 47,736.
Then I messed up my math somewhere, Mr. Bowling, because
15 times 3 is 47,000.
I didn't intend for there to be any markup at all on those.
Well, it's not. You hurt yourself by $15. So
That's okay.
I think you can live with that.
I can.
But, I don't anybody would take the lease payment if there's no markup, right?
There's no markup.
So we appreciate you doing that. But, so the second question for me is the county can't afford it. If we can get reimbursed through the CARES Act, if we pay for it, then I'm going to lean towards let's go and pay for the $47,745. Pay you, they are now county property.
Absolutely.
And let the CARES Act reimburse them.
Correct.
But if that does not apply, I'm leasing them all day long for $1,326.
I think that's the best route to go, absolutely.
My first choice is if we get reimbursed, let's buy them. If we don't get reimbursed, let's lease them. Let's let the judge's office work that out between now and next court meeting. As far as that portion, this section 5, let's work that out between now and next court meeting, the rest of it is fine.
I would say if we're doing it that way, we're under a state of emergency still. We're doing that with an eye towards COVID, so I think that would be a reasonable purchase. So inherently, if we're going under the CARES Act, we're doing it because of COVID-related issues. So we have authority, even if we need to do an executive order to do it.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was basically asking, if we need to do an executive order to be able to do it.
Well, I think if
And
we're
then
going to do
we'll-
it all at once, then I'm under the CARES Act, but if we're leasing it 3 per year, we're not.
We're gonna get outside that window.
Yeah.
CARES Act's gonna go away, that money's gonna go away.
Even if we pay for all of them up front and just get reimbursed for one,
It's still,
it's
still,
definitely worth going that route.
$15,915 savings for the tax.
What's the life expectancy on one?
That's the only life expectancy on those.
Well, the ones we bought are the latest model. They're the ones that are the most current model that LifePak sells. Mr. Crosley, if you look at the life expectancy, the company will tell you 7 years. I can tell you that we've always got a lot more than that out of those. Those LifePak 12s that we got are probably 15 years old. I would say about 15 years old. And I would expect these, even though they're refurbished, to give us 15 years because they're the current model. So they're making parts for those now and they're still selling them new. And if we've applied for grant money to get another one for the county that won't cost the county anything through the Homeland Security. If we get it, we'll have to buy a new one. And new ones are about $32,000. So it's the same model as the $32,000 monitor. It's just not a new one. We got the same warranty and everything. It's just a refurbished unit. We've had real good luck in the past at other counties buying refurbished monitors, and these were good monitors. We got a good ones, and we've had them, a couple months, and they work fine. They're the latest model. And we'll continue to apply. I think you all voted on the grant a few months ago. Hopefully, we'll get another one with Homeland Security money this year, and we'll try to get another one next year, which will give you 5, which is ideally where we would be. But the 3 we bought will be all that we need unless we can get some more through a grant at this point.
Okay, so you're saying, the annual bid then without this would be $15,912 less?
Which should be the 190,700 divided by 12. That number does not reflect the monitor.
Okay, because I was getting 206,611.92.
Ben says it does.
The bid.
In the monthly amount, okay.
It says the monthly amount includes the monitor lease payment of $1,326.
Okay. If you take that 1,326 out of the 217, that should leave you an amount that's divisible into the 190.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 15,890.
Hopefully, I run that 2 or 3 times to make sure, but I'm not sitting here to say it's not exactly right.
So,
Maybe it's
Joe,
not.
is there anything wrong with making a motion to accept the bid with the option of letting the judge work out, finding out the information of how best for the taxpayer to do the monitor, whether we straight purchase it because we can get reimbursed under the CARES Act, or we just pay the money?
I would say, yes, I think just make the bid to where you're accepting it as offered with the second provision that if the judge can get the entire thing paid through the CARES Act, he has the authority to do an executive order and go ahead and pay the full $47,000 now to be reimbursed.
So I'm going to put that in the form of a motion to accept the bid from Comcare Incorporated at an annual cost of $190,700 that is divisible into 12 equal monthly payments due on the first of every month. And that we allow the judge's office, if needed through an executive order, to purchase these monitors, hopefully all 3 of them, at $47,745, if that can be reimbursed through CARES Act. If not, we will do option B, which is offered through Comcare, to rent them monthly at $1,326 for every 36 months, and once they're paid for, they become town property.
You might have to write that motion down as long as it was. And I don't think we'll know whether it's going to be reimbursable or not Thomas. Nobody's gonna be able to give me that answer. They're gonna tell us just to submit it. So I can't say it'll be a reimbursement. It might be a few less dollars to purchase it other than leasing it, but I just want to tell you ahead of time, I've sat through 2 or 3 of those meetings, and they hadn't definitely told us anything. They just told us, you know, that they'll submit. You know what I'm talking about, you know.
We get it. I mean, all they can do is dig and know.
That's about as clear as mud, isn't it?
And usually our part's really just waiting on what state's gonna do.
That's
So
right.
you've already made the motion. Have we already?
Yes, I make.
Is somebody second it? I'll second it.
Judge, if we're still in discussion, Magistrate Boland, my worries is number 6 and 7. I just want to make sure everybody's clear on it, because well, we've had a lot of complicated things for this year, and I think I'm going to be relying on you a lot, attorney, for us to try to work some of these things out. But under number 6, that's submitted expenses that we've currently put in through the request for public assistance. So at some point, and you all just mentioned it, and that's exactly a fact, at some point the state's going to approve part of, or some of, or not approve those expenses. Those expenses include one of the monitors. When we submitted that, we submitted one of the monitors into that expense. One of the things I just want to ask is, at some point this year, we settle on that amount. When I say we settle on it, you know, whatever we can get, you know, to get that reimbursed. I just want to make sure that we keep that at the forefront, and I know you will. But we're moving into another fiscal year, and that's in there. I just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. At some point in this fiscal year, we'll settle out that amount of submitted
Okay, so
expenses.
this is one monitor of the 3?
Yes,
Or
that's
just 4?
one of the monitors in there. One of those
Well,
3
they
is
told
in
us to
there.
be careful and make sure we wasn't,
We don't want to double dip, I understand.
Double dip.
That's right.
So-
The other costs are primarily PPE expenses, things that there's no labor in that at all, because we got funding through the CARES Act that I felt like covered any labor losses. So the only thing we put here was tangible expenses, things we purchased specifically for COVID that we can show a receipt for that was used for Logan County, okay? Number 7 is the one that's to me, it's a little gray, because I struggled with this, trying to figure out, with this dealing with a national emergency, that we have an exclusion here that the court understands that with our proposal and with our subsequent contract that we'll nail out, that when we're under a state of emergency, there are going to be expenses incurred outside of this contract. Now, once again, I know the CARES Act money that you all received as a county has to be expended by December 31st. I actually expect that this disaster is going to last the biggest part of this fiscal year.
I'm afraid it is too.
So there's a certain amount of trust here, I think, for you guys to trust me and our company, and I got to trust you all. What you got to trust me to do, I'm going to be a good steward of your all's money. I'm not going to give excessive costs. I'm not going to waste anything. I'm not going to look for reasons to try to get money. But on the other side, I've got to trust you all that this is going to be retrospective when we're going to have to pay it up front. And at the end, you all are ultimately going to have the choice as to whether you're going to reimburse us for it or not. And I've got to trust you all there as well.
So on 6 and 7, though, these are funds that would come through. You would submit that you had an extra expense because of the COVID, or national emergency. We would submit those under the CARES Act, the federal and state funds that became available or possible were available.
Right.
We would submit those. If we get paid for them, then we would give it to you.
That's correct. We would work out, we would settle it out at the end,
If
you know.
we don't get paid for it, though, is the question. Let's say you submit this $20,861.85 bill, and we don't get reimbursed that. Okay, the state turns it, let's just, for a scenario, just say they turn it all down. You know, they just say, hey, we're not giving you any of it, none of it applies. Are we responsible for that $20,000?
I guess my question, Thomas, would be to our attorney, would we have the ability, us and you all together, to sit down and settle that amount for an agreed upon amount? Does that make sense? If you don't get reimbursed for it, I can tell you my feeling is I'm not expecting you to pay that all out of your pocket. I think what we're looking for here is to make sure we all do our due diligence in trying to get reimbursed for funds when we're under a disaster. I mean, that's, the rider here is that we would work out from under this during a disaster.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that part. We submitted to the state and federal agencies, and, you know, because you're working under, working for our behalf in this situation, providing this service, although you are a for-profit business, you know, and I think absolutely that applies. What I probably would disagree with you, though, if it'd be no difference, I guess, in my looking at it, if you submitted that bill to Anthem, and Anthem says, you submit a $400 bill, and they say, I'm sorry, we don't only allow $350. You know, they pay $350. You know, I guess that's just a part of the nature of the business that you're in. I think we should work with you to make sure you get, you know, the funds through the CARES Act that's being available with the state that they're making available. Just a little wary of being on the foot for being responsible for large amount of pay.
I understand completely. I think one of the documents I gave you was a estimate by the Kentucky ambulance providers about what the lost revenue was, how it was going to affect each ambulance service, and that was drilled down to a per ambulance loss amount. And I believe that number, if you look, there's statewide numbers here, and then I applied them just to Logan County based on the number of ambulances that we have. And if you look at that, Judge, an estimate would be over the next 3 months, we potentially could lose, an estimate would be about $32,000. That's once again an estimate. It could be zero or it could be double that. I mean, I think we got so much that's unknown ahead of us that I just want us to have a clause in here where we have the ability to sit down together down the road and look back at this and try to settle any losses that we've incurred. My goal isn't to make money off of the COVID problem. My worry is that we just don't lose a lot as a result of a national disaster or a state or local disaster. Most of the time a local disaster shouldn't affect us this bad because, you know, a tornado hits Logan County, that's going to be a 4 or 5 day event. A bad ice storm hits Kentucky, you know, maybe it's a 30-day event, maybe it's got a little bit of an effect. Gosh, this could be a year-long event. This one's, from a healthcare perspective, has really been different. It's been hard to wrap my hands around. But I'm open to work out, Mr. Boland, whatever we can. I think we both are agreeing on this. I think I'm fine with us trying to work out something in our contract to where it's amicable for both of us.
Well, it's just hard for us, it's hard for me to be agreeable for a liability that I don't know what's going to be.
I fully understand.
That's just hard for me.
That's why I tried to make number 7 pretty vague, that we would sit down in the contract and try to work out something, because I think that's going to take a lot.
The problem with vague, though, is to Thomas's point, is makes it unknown, which means,
Sure.
I mean, I have every faith since I've been here, you all have worked well with us, but I think his fear would be he doesn't want to have a scenario where we sit down and you go, okay, all that's yours. So I don't know if, could we pass this for 2 weeks and try to come up with something more specific? Is there a percentage basis that you would feel more comfortable with? Ambiguity in contracts isn't a big thing if you have a, you know, an amicable working relationship, but if that ever is severed, then really the only way to resolve that is in courts, and I don't know that anybody really wants to get into that. Sure. Is there anything, I mean, we can talk about it here, is there something that would give each side more relief if we agreed upon a percentage?
I'm sure this dude has read it a whole lot more than I have, but I know I've read 10,000 different things that the CASO sent out. They sent out 50 things a day when you read, so I don't know how they keep up with it. But it looks like there's going to be money for medical expenses such as this that directly impacts the county, you know, whether it's in your jail, your sheriff's department, your ambulance service. What I've been reading, now, cutting the check is a totally different thing, as we all know, which is what the judge alluded to a while ago, you know, I mean, it's one thing to say that they will cover it, it's another thing to get them to cut the check. And, you know, I'm just more than happy to submit every single bill. I think it's prudent of us, if the CARES Act provides this money to the state knows Logan County, you know, what your portion of it is, and, you know, this is, again, this is at cost, you know, no labor, this is your actual expense, no profit, you know, no overhead. You know, I am more than happy to work with y'all and submit those bills and show the documentation, you know, to be the pass-through and get that money back into Logan County, which we know in turn is going to keep our bid next year at a more reasonable price.
Right.
If we go through this and you've lost $200,000, I mean, common sense tells us that our bid is going to be $200,000 higher, than what, probably $400,000 higher than what it was last year, because you lost two, and you project to lose another two.
Right, right.
And, you know, so I think we're all in it together to.
I agree.
To save the
And I'm more than working with whatever the court feels good with. I think our goal is the same.
I just don't want to be contractually on the hook, well, I'm sorry, the CARES Act didn't cover that, and so therefore you owe me X amount of dollars. You know, that's the part that nothing against you, I don't blame you for asking, I'd be asking.
Sure.
But, you gotta be careful with the county, just carte blanche says, okay, somebody else don't pay it, we will.
I'm okay with that. I think that's what he's asking, so if that's the position of the court, I'm going to back you all, but that's, I think, the ambiguity was, you're saying that if it's not reimbursed, you want them to cover all.
Or if we sit down and come back to court and say, hey, you know, guys, kind of like we do with our fuel tax, you know, and our fuel flex money, say, hey, look, I lost, you know, $50,000 here, we turned it in, and the state covered 10, you know, this $40,000 difference that y'all, you know, consider covering a portion of this. And just say,
And I'm fine with that. I think that's where I'm ultimately wanting to get to,
just
Thomas.
want it in the contract that we are going to cover any of these uncovered extra expenses that are listed.
You're not want to be obligated at this point for any of those unreimbursable expenses.
That's just contractually obligated.
Right.
I'm more than happy to sit down with you and work through, get the money, worked out.
Okay, the biggest thing I see right now here, Jim, more so than anything, if you've already turned that in as a reimbursable expense to the emergency management, if we approve the purchase of 3 and we turn it in 2, that's double dip.
We've actually turned in one more than what we've done. I agree, Judge. Up until now, we haven't submitted receipts. What we've been asked to do by the emergency managers is just track costs and let them know what the totals are. So I don't know that we've officially submitted this. We've just showed expenses that what we think it's going to be. So far, none of the emergency managers in any of our 5 counties have reached out and said, I need these forms filled out, I need these receipts. We've got them, but they haven't been filled out yet. So if you lease the monitors, you know, one of them is in that. So you need to take one of the monitors out when you think about that, because if that's submitted and approved through the RPA, then you bought one already. Well, that's one of them.
Okay. It would be cleaner just to do all 3 of them, though.
It would be, and it would be cleaner to do them all through the funding you're getting through the state, because that's going to be 100% reimbursable, whereas if you submit this under RPA, it could only be 85%. There's some talk that they're going to waive that, and it's going to be 100, but that process does leave the county with a little bit of matching obligation. Whereas if it falls under the CARES Act funding as an expense that's acceptable, then I don't think there's any matching money that has to be put with that.
Okay, Thomas, what was your motion again? I didn't forget.
And it was that long, wasn't it?
Your motion didn't cover 6 and 7 though, so.
Well, I think, the contract's going to reflect that, it's a little, what the county did, and judge and do, kind of work on that language, that's number 6 and 7. Basically, my motion, to cover the number 5 part was to accept the bid from Comcare, provide ambulance service at an annual cost of $190,700 and 12 equal monthly payments due on the first of each year, each month. And that we allow the judge to work out whether or not to lease the monitors $1,326 per month, 36 a month, or if reimbursable through the CARES Act, you just purchase the three for $7,745.
That's the same motion, right?
That's the
Yeah.
exact same motion.
That's what I thought.
And then we'll, again, number 6 and 7, the language in the contract, obviously, will be looked at between the county judge, county attorney, Mr. Dukes, about an agreeable language of how that CARES money will be submitted to the state reimbursed.
Okay,
Same second.
the one thing, the overall bid will change if we purchase the monitors.
That 190 won't change.
The-
$190,700 is the same dollar amount. What's
Yeah.
going to be different is your monthly payment. Instead of being $17,217.66, Jason will tell you what it would be 15, what you say, Jason?
15.8 something, wasn't it?
15,890.66.
Yeah, it's just your monthly payment would be different. So that number right there times 12 would be $197,000.
It was
Okay,
15,891,
197,100.
66 or 67? Yeah, okay.
Okay, that at least payment wasn't in that 197, man.
No, wasn't
Okay.
in that total amount.
It's in that 17,217.66. Jason, take that number. If you take 17,217.66 times 12,
It's 200 and something, 206 or,
you're going to get a higher number.
Should be one of the monitors plus the 190,000.
197,100 plus 15,000.
That's right.
That's 205, 206.
206, 611.
There you go. Does that make sense, Judge?
Yeah, it makes sense that, we're not, but monitors cost $15,915.
15, I thought it was 15,415, but yeah,
Well,
15.
15,915 what you got here.
Okay, whatever I got, that's the number, that's it.
The monitor's a cost of
I can provide a
$15,915.
receipt for that as well.
The goal would be to get those submitted under the CARES Act and just purchase all three of them, and then we get reimbursed, you get reimbursed, and then they're ours. But if they don't pay you for one of them, we'll buy one and lease the other two, whatever.
That's gonna be hard change in the middle of the year, though.
What's that?
That'd be hard change in the middle of the year, and they're not gonna take any, submittals on that CARES Act till later.
I think December 31st is the last you can spend that, isn't it? Currently, unless they change the rules again, which they probably will. But
You can submit that now, my understanding.
anytime between now and December 31st.
Yeah, well, you got to do the application, okay? And then you can submit things. I will agree with you there, but we want to submit it as much as we can, at one time. And we're keeping up with it downstairs, just like when the jail buys masks, what I'm talking about, we're keeping that up for submittal. Now, one problem we're running into, Thomas, you got, according to what I'm getting from the DLG. Sometime next year, we're gonna have to set up a new fund like we set up the insurance fund. And that's just for that COVID-19 or any federal dollars we receive. And we definitely don't have time to set up another fund and get this year's budget passed at this point. But of course, Karen, Amanda's downstairs now, but Karen and Amanda, myself, and Paula listened to all this Monday about this reimbursement. And it's got to be carefully put into a fund, the understanding I've got. And then we got to reimburse where it came from. If it came from the sheriff's department or it came from the judge's office, it's got to be reimbursed out of that fund. And so that's part, I guess, and I'm kind of looking at July, Thomas, before we can do any reimbursement.
Well, that's when this contract takes effect, right?
Yeah.
July 1?
Yeah.
Could we just do the order to where you're going to do an executive order buying it for $47,000 in hopes of getting reimbursed by the CARES Act, with the understanding if that were to fall through and be anything less than what the full amount, that they would give us the ability to convert that into a lease agreement and pay it yearly.
So I definitely think it'd be easier just for the court to outright purchase these monitors and then us submit them ourselves.
We get money back and get it.
I'm fine with whatever, how y'all want to do it. I think everything y'all saying, I'm perfectly in agreement with. Yeah, either way.
He ain't gonna disagree with you, you know? I'm just saying.
I mean, we could put something in there that we pay that, and if we don't get the CARES money, then it's somehow a credit to where we don't pay as much. I mean, does that work, something like that?
I'm fine with it.
So you'd actually get the money, we submit it, but if for some reason we're unimbursed.
I don't know if we can do that either, Joe. We can't carry a debt. You know what I'm talking about, you know, from one year to the next.
Well, he could.
We'd have to put it all on this year,
He
wouldn't
could
we?
give us the credit within this year.
This has been a complicated year, Thomas. Normally this is simple. You know, gosh, we come up here and we try to give you a simple bid. And before COVID, I had a couple of issues, the monitors and the raises, that was going to make this one a little less simple. And then COVID hits and it got even worse. So maybe we'll get back to a more simpler bid by next year. Things will be a little more back to normal.
Okay, is there any questions by anybody? We got a motion on the floor. Did we have a second? A second by Tyler. Hopefully, I'll be able to sort through that and understand
You're
it.
good with the motion? Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Crossley. Wright.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes.
Thank you all for letting us run your ambulance service for another year.
Hey, you did a great job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you all
Thank
the
you.
staff, and hey, we appreciate what y'all doing. I know it's a tough time, right?
And I'll try, hopefully next year our bid will be simpler. This has been a weird one, so I hope we don't do this every year. But thank you.
Thank you.
Man, glad y'all got back safe too from New York. Appreciate y'all going out there doing it. Yeah.
John here spent 30 days up there working, 18-hour shifts.
I appreciate you.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Okay, next item of business is to approve the appointment of Marie Campbell to the Logan County Tourism and Convention Commission for a 3-year term through May 8th, 2023.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Is there any question? Okay, not hearing any. Let's have roll call.
Davenport.
Yes.
Crossley. Wright.
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Next item of business is to acknowledge receipt of the Tourism and Convention Commission annual budget for next year, for year 2021.
I make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the Logan County Tourist and Convention Commission budget for fiscal years 2020 to 2021.
Second.
Okay, is there any questions? We had a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay, next item of business is to approve the county treasurer's continuation bond for a period of 7/1/2020 to 6/30/2021. And that's in front of you, a CAECO Insurance Agency bond. A total amount of $766.55.
So moved.
Okay, and this one here says it expires 7/01/2021. That's what this
Or
bill,
2020, yeah.
7/01/2020 to 7/01/2021.
That'd be great, man.
Yeah, he said
yeah, because
6/30.
it's through 6/30 and expires on the 1st. Got it?
Got it. Sorry, Judge.
You're fine.
It expires. You're exactly right. That motion's correct.
Who seconded it? Okay.
Yeah.
I did.
I thought so.
I'll second it.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay, next item of business is acknowledge receipt of the report of the audit for fiscal court for the year ending June 30th, 2019. Okay, the remarks is on 3 pages from the back.
47? I think page 47. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'd already seen this here.
I think since this time, we've, unless we did something today with a bid, I think we've corrected most of this.
I'll make a motion to acknowledge the receipt of the audit report for the fiscal report for the year ended June 30, 2019.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. It's just that bid report there where we petroleum and jail
You
food.
didn't say anything about the $200 thing. I thought that was a issue, but I guess they got over it. Which don't matter, we're gonna do it anyway.
Okay, is there any other discussion? If not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Next item of business is to acknowledge receipt of report of agreed upon procedures and engagement with Logan County Emergency Communication Center, public safety answering point for the Kentucky 911 Service Board. And y'all should have that in your report, in your audit.
motion to,
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to acknowledge this audit of public accounts agreed upon procedure engagements for the Logan County Emergency Communication Center. And we had a second.
I second it.
Yeah.
Seconded by Tyler? Okay. Any questions? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay, next item of business, item number 7 is retract a motion of number 2 of June 2nd, 2020 special call meeting. And the reason for that, we were operating off of charges that Kelly had brought to the court, and those charges have changed, and we'll need to make a new motion if we're going to use McGregor to do FSA accounts only.
The only change, Judge, is that the annual renewal is 150 as opposed to 100, is that correct?
That
Well, it's a monthly minimum. The fee didn't go up.
Minimum.
On the track.
So we have more than $75 a month. Okay. I'll retract. Second.
I make a motion to retract my motion of number 2 on June 2nd, the 2020 meeting.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second to retract order number 2 of the June 2nd, 2020 meeting. Is there any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley,
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes, that was quoted to us with FSA and FHA. Okay, number 8, to approve new McGregor rates without HRA for FSA services only. And those numbers have went to the monthly charge per employee, $4.25. The monthly minimum is $75, and the annual renewal fee will be $150 instead of,
I make a motion to enter a contract with McGregor and Associates for the FSA services at $4.25 per month per employee, with a monthly minimum of $75 and a $150 annual renewal fee for fiscal year 2020 to 2021.
Second.
okay, y'all heard the motion, and you might need to pass that motion up here since I took the time to write it out to make sure we got it right in the minutes. And we had a second.
Thomas.
Approving the new rates with McGregor for FS services only. Any questions? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Okay, next item of business is to approve workers' compensation membership agreement, and allow me to sign it. That's our quote, and for workers' comp this year. Total is $78,735.
Make a motion to accept and to allow the judge to make the full payment and receive the 1% discount.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper, Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business is to approve the CAF renewal for property and liability and the dividend reimbursement that goes along with it. This is our property and liability insurance. While we're talking about this, we hadn't got everything exactly worked out on earthquake insurance that we've been covering every year, Thomas. But this will allow us to work with them. Instead of insuring every building, we took an umbrella policy, that would cover wherever needed. If we had an earthquake, right now, CAECO's negotiating themselves with having an umbrella policy for it to be used anywhere in the state of Kentucky that might be needed, and that might lower the amount of earthquake insurance that we want to have a blanket of, or that blanket's I think our blanket's $10 million with a high deductible, and that's what they're setting up, trying to set up through CAECO, somewhere around the $200 million blanket coverage for the state. Now, we will have to pay something on it. Well, that's what I was sitting there looking at. I don't have the,
I read there, it says, your employees, request earthquake coverage is separately regarding the county invoice. The bottom of the invoice shows the discount you received to pay your premium prior to the Q1 2020, as well as penalty that will apply if the premium is not paid in full by 12/31. I'm missing the page of those on mine.
well, I hadn't got it either.
Yeah, I don't
The
see it.
invoice not copied through. Probably the copier messed it up. Maybe that page didn't copy through. And then the copier breaks two pages.
Okay. Look like total amount due would be $208,010. That didn't get copied in our packet.
Yeah, okay. And then the copier screw up.
But we always pay that first of fiscal year, Thomas.
But that does not have the earthquake included in that.
No, it becomes a separate policy.
Separate policy.
So it's $285,010. You save 1% if you pay by August 1st, and that makes it $205,929.
Thomas, this was a blanket coverage, right? I mean, this one here is a blanket, 10 million blanket.
I'm talking about on the earthquake.
No, on this, and here's this property, and
This particular policy here has got everything covered individually. This is our property and liability coverage.
property and liability.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, this covers everything on that. Now, what we were talking about a while ago, we will be, if this don't include that earthquake insurance, we ain't got the thing on the earthquake yet.
Okay.
But the CAECO's working on having a blanket coverage out there for the state of Kentucky. And that's what we purchased here in Logan County because we felt like we needed adequate coverage if we had an earthquake and say the only thing that failed was the Justice Center over there next door, we can make a decision and move it all toward that Justice Center.
Okay.
Now,
That's just on the earthquake.
if we had a total earthquake, you know, I'm talking about took out several of our buildings, we wouldn't have had near enough. But hopefully it wouldn't do that, Barry.
No, I agree. All right. You want me to pass that around? I need to stand up anyhow. You got that paper?
That's my
Mr.
only
Cobb?
copy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should, I can cross over there.
Oh, I need to stand up.
Somebody not gonna walk there, you can.
Today, anyway, right?
No, I'm good. I need to get up late.
Oh, you better go to the doctor.
I'm good.
And Judge, correct me if I'm wrong, that's your autos, your
Yeah,
buildings,
yeah.
your liability,
Yeah,
your PNC.
That's what I was thinking was pretty high, but till you throw liability and auto, and it's,
And that earthquake's a separate policy. I can't remember, 1 year ago, 2 years ago, we moved that to an umbrella instead of per
Earthquake
bill.
insurance don't take effect for 6 months.
I think it's about 31,000 last year.
What is it?
We had 2 or 3 different options, we could buy, we could buy 5 and we chose to buy 10.
What this coverage is all listed on the last page y'all got in y'all packet. We didn't have that figure.
When does earthquake insurance take effect? After it's
I'm sorry, Jack.
after it's purchased, when does earthquake insurance take effect?
Yeah,
How long after it's purchased?
I'm sorry I didn't hear you.
After you purchased insurance for earthquake damage,
Yeah.
how long does it take for it to take effect? 6
Uh,
months, 90 days?
We're already being covered by earthquake insurance, so it wouldn't be a
Policy, July.
so we're already covered under it, so it just
No, I knew it
automatically
would. I
renews.
knew we were.
I guess it automatically renews.
It does. But I just, you know, it's like people know it.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew he was covered already.
Yes, 205, 19, 205, 19, 19.
When you're done, can I get it back and get your copy later?
What's that, there?
That's all I got. Sorry. Thank you.
I make a motion to approve KA renewal for property and liability and dividend reimbursement for the amount of $205,929.90. That's with the 1% discount for payment in full.
Okay, we got a motion, we got a second.
I'll say that.
Okay, any questions? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crosley.
Yes.
Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle,
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business is to approve a list of June 9th, 2020 budget changes. I've had to pull my mask off because I'm going to have to do a lot of reading. Or approve a list of June 9th, 2020 budget changes. Okay, general fund expenditure code 015081-521. Judicial Center building insurance from $30,676 to $31,788, an increase of $1,112 to reflect additional earthquake premium to be allocated to the Justice Center per CAECO. Okay, next item of business is change revenue code 014503, federal reimbursement fund from 107,439 to 109,339, an increase of $2,500 to reflect the sheriff's highway safety overtime grant that he talked to us at the last meeting about. The next item of business is add expenditure code 01501517B, Sheriff Highway Safety Overtime Grant, in the amount of $2,500 to reflect overtime funds for traffic safety grant. The next item of business in the general fund is change expenditure code 015135-105, DES Director of Emergency Management, Assistant Coordinator salary from $4,963 to $6,000, an increase of $1,037, and to reflect the salary increase per court order on 6/2/20. The next item is change expenditure code 015135-107, DES Coordinator salary from $8121 to $9,000, an increase of $879 to reflect salary increase per court order on 6/2/20. The last item in general fund is change expenditure code 015015-723, and that's sheriff motor vehicle. This coming year we put $70,000. We had $70,000 that we was unable to spend this year, so that's just carrying those over with the possibility of buying some new or good used vehicles that increased the line item $70,000 to reflect the purchase of 2 additional cruisers. Okay, road fund. Change code 024514, transportation cabinet from $315,058 to $329,128, a change that reflects a decrease of $28,849 for reduced rural secondary flex funds for the amount for fiscal year 2021, an increase of $42,919, a reimbursement on Coslow Road Bridge. The overall line item increase is $14,070. Now, what that is, we won't get the reimbursement on Coslow Road till sometime after the first of the fiscal year. That's what affected that. Okay, change expenditure code 026105-311B, rural secondary research for fiscal year 2021 flex fund from $235,000 to $206,209, which is a decrease of $28,849 to reflect reduced rural secondary flex fund for fiscal year 2021. If y'all remember, they promised us one thing and then they sent us a little bit less. Okay, change expenditure code 026105-713, new road equipment from $175 to $230, an increase of $55,000 to allow funds to purchase 2 tandem axle trucks. We're having a lot of trouble with those tandem trucks we got now, and we've worked and spent a bunch of money on them, and they're 2008 models. and we just think it's time to replace them. Okay, the jail fund, one reason for most of these changes in jail fund is because we make the budget so early. And then we'll be dealing with this a little bit on a special call meeting. Change expenditure code 03-5101-103, deputies and matrons, salaries from 878-406 to 913-464, an increase of $35,058 to reflect salaries and new pay plan. Okay, next item of business is change expenditure code 03-5101-105, administrative assistance from $35,370 to $35,996, an increase of $626 to reflect salary and new pay plan. Next item of business is change expenditure code 03-5101-106, jail office staff from $61,539 to $64,392, an increase of $28.53 to reflect salaries and new pay plan. Okay, the next item of business is change expenditure code 03-9400-201, Social Security from $97,741 to $100,690, an increase of $29.49 to reflect salaries and new pay plan. Next item is change expenditure code 03-9400-202, retirement from $317,164 to $332,078, an increase of $14,914 to reflect salaries and new increases in new pay plan. LGA fund is to add expenditure code 04-5401-8099, Parks and Recreation projects at $250,000 to reflect funds for future projects as per court order on 6/2/20. Next item of business is all funds, adjust continued appropriation transfers and transfers out, fund sum totals and fund totals were necessary to balance budget for fiscal year 2021. And we need those changes.
I think it's worth noting that on the increases due to the new pay plan at the jail, she had already had, for the budget to be due in April for the jail, she already had a budgeted increase. This is on top of what she'd already budgeted, so that's not the increase. The increase is actually more than that, but there was she had to go back and redo it because she had to have the jail's budget turned in I think it's April, and she had already added a budgeted amount to the salaries, and then so she had to go back and add, once we did the first reading of the new pay plan or whatever, she had to go back and add more. So that's what you see, there's a second wave of adding, so I just wanted to note that.
Make a motion to accept the
Approved.
the budget changes needed as listed here on the June 9, 2020 list.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and second to approve this list of budget changes for, at our June 9th meeting. Any questions?
I guess the only question I have is, are we going to have to have any ambulance service budget changes from what you had on your,
Okay,
in the general fund here?
we'll have to approve that at the last meeting of the year, Barry.
Okay. All right. That's the only question I have.
There's no way to get that on the list today.
Okay. Well, we don't really, it's still unknown. So, that's the only question I had.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, if not, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley. Wright,
Yes.
Harper. Kyle. Golden.
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, we got a reason to go into closed session this morning. And before everybody gets, before we go into this closed session, I'd like to have a little break first. But I think we can go ahead and make the motion and give everybody about 10 minutes to get back in their seats after we make a motion. Okay, we need to, I guess this would be under KRS 61810, 1F, discussion or hearing that might lead to appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee, member, or student, right, Joe? So we need to do that motion.
Motion to approve.
Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley. Yes. Wright,
Yes.
Harper,
Yes.
Kyle, Bolden,
Yes.
Chick,
Yes. Back in regular session, I do want to remind the court that, and I may do it up in announcements, but we'll need to have a special call court meeting Monday, June the 15th at 9 a.m. To conclude a few things we needed to do to get the budget ready to prepare and pass by the end of the month. So we'll be sending out a special agenda for that meeting. And is there any other post agenda that need to be brought up? For that meeting. And is there any other?
Let's make sure.
If not, we have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, Robert and Jack, before you leave, I've got two packets. You wanna look through them before I hand them to them?
I mean, you got your copy,
Yeah.
I need to get the video stuff, and we'll try to get that to them ASAP.
Okay, and we need to add the videos to these before we turn them over to them?
You can go ahead and give those to them for now, and then we'll tell them when the others are ready if they want to come by.
Do you want me to do roll call? No, we haven't. Logan, you want me to make roll call?
Yeah, roll call.
Davenport? Yes. Crosley? Yes. Wright?
Yes.
Harper?
Yes.
Kyle? Yes. Bolden?
Yes.
Chick?
Yes.